Hey, how's it going? It's Tim Brown, and this is the Hook Better Leads podcast. Today, we're talking about using reviews and testimonials in your marketing, specifically for contractors. And today, I have the pleasure of having Shawn Hill from NiceJob on today. What's up, man?
Hey, how are you, man? I'm really excited to do this today.
Absolutely. So you're the community marketing director. You've been involved in a lot of different marketing stuff through the years. Is there any way you could give us just a zip zap resume so that folks can kind of respect your effort in this area?
Yeah, so I'm a non-traditional marketer by birth, is what I like to say. So I've come from a lot of different angles. My bulk of my history was actually in sports. So I did things like I was one to help on the creative team for the NHL mascot Gritty from the Philadelphia Flyers.
Very
so
cool.
One of my brainchilds, that one, things like that. Worked with the USA Rugby Sevens when that was becoming an Olympic sport to really kind of put that. So ran an event in Las Vegas for 70,000 people plus. I did tennis, I did baseball, I've done everything from be the mascot to be the broadcaster to be the marketing director. And all that has led to pretty much what I do as a profession in every step along the way is I try to find people that are passionate about something, make them more passionate about it so that they start bringing other people into the fold. So that's what community marketing really is about.
Cool.
So in the sports profession is you're taking people that are fans of the team, making them super fans of the team. So if you finish in last place, you can still make money. If you finish in first place, you can make even more money. But when it translated, when I came to NiceJob into businesses, it was about actually having a value. So the one thing about working in sports is they're billion-dollar companies. A lot of them aren't really great billion-dollar companies. You know, the parent organizations are kind of a load of garbage sometimes. But here at NiceJob the pitch that was kind of made to me was dealing with home service professionals, contractors, people, small business owners, large business owners that are out there trying to make an impact. And so for me, where I always approach the marketing perspective from is what's going to have a good impact for you, but also what's going to allow you to activate not just yourself, but your fan base, right? Your customers, your clients, and your community around you. Because if you can own the community, you're going to own the space.
Dig it. So we're talking about reviews because that's what you guys do. So why should people be using their best reviews in their website copy? We talked a little bit about how you can pull stuff from the reviews, especially if you have a lot of reviews and people keep saying the same thing. Why should people be pulling that stuff and putting it into the actual copy of their website and headlines?
Because the biggest thing is, you know what, you might have great talking points, you might have great copy, but no one actually really wants to hear from you. And what I mean by that is that the consumer has gotten a bit smarter. They understand that there's copywriters and things of that nature. They might not know it by term. But social proof, a review used in your website copy, someone else's words, is the age old, well, I'm not saying it, they're saying it. But then also they're going to call the shot for you. And then that puts you in a position to match it. So, hey, Mary says we're great. This is how on our website, you're now seeing of how we try to be great. Mary's confirming that all the equation we just showed you makes us great. And that's ultimately, and especially what we've seen over the past, the past 2 years, especially, but even more so, as we become more connected, with social media sites and things like that, and the web exploding, with everybody becoming a broadcaster, is people are going to look for two things: the opinion they want to hear, or the opinion that they're going to accept as true. And either way, a review is going to provide that on your website because it's real social proof. It's a powerful commodity. And some of the recent stats they showed is people are going to trust that 12 times more than anything a salesman's going to say. Yeah. So before they get into that sales process, why not build that trust using copy directly from your reviews?
I love it. Yeah. I had a video guy go out and take just a video testimonial for our website. And he, I got it back, and it was kind of good that I wasn't there. And, maybe if you're doing testimonial and you're asking somebody to do it and you're you kind of coach them, well, this is the type of stuff I want to hear. It's almost worse in a way when you get those unadulterated reviews. Cause literally I thought we were doing all this sexy marketing stuff and more leads and and basically these reviews, a couple of these video reviews were just take things off our plate. I don't want to do it anymore. I'm bored of doing it. They do the stuff I don't want to do. Even though that's not the sexiest copy to me, we use that all over now because it's take things off my plate. I'm just saying the same thing that they said. And I'm it's beautiful when you resonate in somebody's brain with the idea that another client has given you. They've given you. That's it may not be what you thought you were, but this is what you really are to them.
Exactly. That's why, NiceJob in particular, as you kind of mentioned, we do reviews, but really we're reputation marketing. So what reputation marketing is taking brand marketing and taking reputation management, the old, kind of way of collecting reviews, and taking those elements from that and putting it together, because you don't own your reputation. You own your brand, and you own the ability to kind of put that out there. But ultimately, your reputation is how people think that you are doing at matching what you're saying you're doing, matching your brand.
Yeah.
And then kind of overall feeling. So you put it right on is a lot of times, when you look through whether you're a video testimonial, whether it's, you're going through your Google My Business, or you're looking at your NiceJob dashboard or something like that, finding out what those reviews are actually saying, that's the voice of the customer. And any marketer knows that if you can connect with the voice of the customer, now you've created a connection, and now you're speaking to them. Yeah. And now it all comes together.
Alignment,
right?
You like, the closer you can get to the way that they naturally feel, it just resonates, and you get that good like harmony.
And because a lot of people, especially, and it happens with contractors or home service specialists, things like that, is you might have gotten into the business, or you might have started to see success because of your expertise in that. And you might say like, well, I'm going to go extreme just to kind of make the point here of like, not only do they want a contractor who does this, this, and this, but they want a contractor in a blue shirt. If they want blue shirts, well, if all of your reviews, no one mentions that they liked how you looked, then they don't care. Or if they're not saying, whenever I see the guys in blue shirt, I know it's a job well done, then it's not even hitting from a brand perspective, right? So if I say like, if you're shopping for computers in a blue shirt, does anything come to mind for you?
Best Buy? Right?
Yeah. So they've made it kind of work. But if I told you like, if you came to me like, oh, hey, I bought a new computer, and you're like, I got a green shirt. I'm like, a green shirt? What? If you want the best computer, it's got to be a blue shirt.
Yeah.
Like that's not something that's actually happening. So Best Buy, they built a bigger brand sort of around it, and they kind of created that look. And how it relates back to Contractors Home Service is that you might think that like, oh, well, people love us because we use this tool, use this technique, or actually do that. But actually what they probably care about is like, are you on time? So if all your reviews talk about like, I love it, they came in, they got the job done earlier than they said. Or, I love that they were set up and ready to go right at 10 a.m. because, I had to get the kids in daycare and do all this. So if they were at 10:05, that ruined my whole day. Well, guess what? Your marketing copy should turn around and say, guess what? When you book us, you're going to know we're there on time. That's the first point you're throwing out there. Even before you talk about the process that you use, the pricing that you structure, you've now hit them of, hey, the most important thing, we're there. So, there's plenty of tools. NiceJob has ones like Topic Insights where you can see what your reviews are actually saying. But,
I love that.
Going back to kind of your first question is the reason you're using that review copy is that's that voice of the customer. That's what's getting out there. And the reason that you want to find out and you constantly want to be collecting reviews and using these in all assets of your marketing, even not doing word for word copy, you still can figure out what you should be saying, perhaps what your salespeople should be saying, what your estimates, what they should focus on, and really prepare them, set the expectations so that not only getting 5-star reviews, but you create a big old system that's getting you more business every time out.
For sure. So what's the ideal inclusion of reviews on a website? Let's say you're putting reviews somewhere on a website. From your perspective, what is the ideal inclusion of those reviews? Like what should be included? What should it look like?
So the first thing I'd recommend, and I'm going to do a lot of like high level generalities because there's different ways to execute these things, right? And so one is the best real-time social proof you can get is great. If you can have widgets that update automatically so that someone can see that this person left a review a day ago, 3 days ago, 7 hours ago. The reason why I think that's important to have good relevance represented with your reviews is because people don't want to see the review that you've seen for years. There's probably business that comes to mind where they've been in business for 30 years and they've been using, Gene's compliments, Gene's testimonial, this glowing phrase. I've seen it for 25 of those 30 years, right?
Dude, is that something nice? Does NiceJob give the little widget where it says like left a review?
Yeah, so NiceJob has the Engage widget, which is the real-time social proof, that part of it. Nice. It can connect with CRMs to show real bookings as well. So sometimes you see it like hotel industry, like, oh, someone booked this room, but those are usually fake half the time. Yeah. But this one, you can show reviews and bookings, but that real-time social proof, you could show there.
And it says like the person's city and stuff on there or what?
Yeah, so what it does, it'll come up, like I'll just use my own example. It'll say, hey, like, Shawn in Vancouver left a 5-star review. You can click into that, see that 5-star review, see the platform it's left on, click again and go through to the actual Google My Business or the Facebook page, whatever it is, and see it. But you'll see the most recent ones. And like I said, with bookings, which I love, and we actually use it in one of our ads, is you can get a full customer journey depending on how quick your turnaround time is. So you could see like, Shawn booked 5 days ago. Then the next thing comes up is Shawn just left a 5-star review and you just got the whole journey. Like
Cool.
5 days ago to 5-star review, that's awesome. And that's
that.
wow immediately. That's gonna up your conversion rate alone. Just that I'll say that style of widget as not making a pitch, but just something that's real-time social proof is going to help you. You can also have it where it's
I love those and I believe in them. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you can have like a display grid that's consistently updating. The other way I'd say to do it is also try to get as much representation across different platforms. One way you can do that is either through a widget or just some sort of display that shows like we're a 4.8 on Google, a 4.9 on Facebook, 4.1 on Yelp because everyone's negative on Yelp, but we're still a 4.1. You can do that sort of thing. So
if you're a 4.1 on Yelp, you're doing something right. Come on.
Yeah, if you're a 4.1 on Yelp, you're probably
not. You've been asking for reviews, is what we know. Yeah.
Exactly. But like I said, and that's Yelp is a whole different story there. But I'm saying like that's another thing I can say. So one, you want to show real-time social proof. Second thing is the best you can kind of show to tell stories, right? So if you can have a review with a photo of the work that you've done to tell the full compliment. So you're seeing it in their words, but you're seeing it with your own eyes. That is something that if you kind of get under that little hero block, you go right there. That's kind of a great place to hit them right there. The first little success story, as you go through. And that's the way I think that you should be using reviews kind of in your website and kind of through your copy. But you also want these things to complement your website, right? Because ultimately your website, you want to be, converting customers, getting them to take an estimate, become the next lead, become the next sale. So you want to be feeding them what they want, but you also want to have a little bit of a narrative because sometimes people throw stuff up there and it seems like it's just kind of random. I always like to say, introduce yourself, give me a review, give me some story. Define that story, follow up with another one. So you kind of go that A-B sort of style, but ultimately, you never want to be talking too much about yourself for too long because when you start convincing them, that's when you want to stop talking and let the social proof do the work. So however it's structured for your particular business, I think you want to have a good, strong, I'll pull the curtain back a bit. You and I talked a little bit before we started, going on air here of like, you're looking for emotional ties, you're looking for, challenges, things like that. Like whatever you're setting up from your copy and your structure, when you feel like you got them there, make that last push over the edge, some social proof in the form of
totally. And I think this is important to include on every single page on the website. You can't just put this on like the home page and think that everyone's going to go there, and definitely not on a testimonials page hidden from everyone. Because who would ever, and there's still a lot of people doing this, who would ever navigate to a testimonials page? No one will. So you got to put it on every single page. You want to make sure it's present. It's next to forms.
Yeah. So I will say this though about the review page is one, if you're adding photos and things like that, you kind of make it, you can almost call it the showroom page. That's a little bit good. But the reviews. Yeah,
if you have it more as like a gallery or showroom, sure. I could see people going there.
So what I'm saying is like
it in with work.
What I'm saying is you're spot on is you should have a review, some sort of social proof on every single page. What I would say is if you have a review page, if you're going to do a collection like that, which can be effective, know that the person that's going to go to that page is specifically looking for almost all your reviews because they're probably trying to find your best, your worst, or things like that. Yeah. So have something in place where you're publishing the right reviews. So you don't want to do review gating. If someone wants to leave a review, you want them to make it, you want to make it easy for them. You want them to leave a review and get it on there. But what's on your website, you can control that where you're just kind of showing your best or just kind of showing those things. Because if they're still not convinced, they're going to go back to your Google My Business and just pour through anyway, right? But perhaps the reason that you put a review page or how to use a review page is actually one for recruiting. So if someone's looking to work for you and wants to kind of see what your business is about, a review page can kind of serve a little bit and helpful of that. I would definitely add at least one testimonial from your employees on your recruiting page, your hiring page, or anything like that. But I think you're spot on. Pick your gems, pick your buttes, put them strategically throughout your website. I don't say don't worry about having the review page because I think if having it can help in some regard, but just know that's not where people are going to go first, right? I think that's what you're kind of saying to us. No one's going to dive in and be like, all right, here's the price, here's that, but let me go and read 25 reviews.
I'm just looking at the analytics of like 50 home services business and no one's going to that review page. Like,
I mean, I don't think you need a review page. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying it's the people that are like, well, look, I gathered all these reviews. I want to show them as many places as possible. Yeah. A review page can do that. But I'm almost saying to emphasize your point is the ones that are really going to push them over to become and take an action, become the next lead, becomes the next sale, are the ones that are put in with all that other copy and all those other pages. So If you're thinking like I put one on my homepage, but I have a review page, so I don't need it on the other pages, that's the mistake.
Gotcha. All right. So I want to talk a little bit about what you're kind of alluding to with themes. And so having themes in your marketing. So I believe, and this is something that we've done recently that I just want to kind of share with people, is we have 4 challenger viewpoints for our company, 4 emotional hook points. So I think of challenger viewpoints as it's just plain wrong. Let's say it's just plain wrong for people to go out and pay for shitty leads and build somebody else's company. It's just plain wrong. I believe it's not right. Like we have 4 of those types of things where it's like, it's just plain wrong, or it's just plain wrong. Like ultimately it's kind of a thing where it's like, it's plain wrong for like a shittier competitor to show up above you in Google search. I hate that. And it's things that like resonate with people. And then the emotional hook points are also kind of around, like for us, it's like, we only work with contractors. I have them up on the wall, but I don't recall them all offhand. But the point is that we keep on saying the same thing in our marketing a lot. So we, let's say on social, and we were kind of talking about this before, where I believe you should come back to it and almost to the point where it gets boring for you as a company. Once you come up with your emotional hook points and your challenger viewpoints, that you should hit them. And these are just themes, your themes in your marketing and what works, and keep on coming back to it. Now, I said it can be boring. It will be a little boring to you that you have to use the same copy and kind of taglines and stuff like that. But you said a great counterpoint, which was the content itself should be interesting. Like, let's say like you're doing something funny, or you're doing some, video or something, but then you got to hit them with that tagline at the end, because you ultimately want something that gets stuck in their head, ideally.
It's like, it's a good musician knows he's become a good musician when he starts hating part of his set list. And the reason he hates part of his set list is because he's got to play the hits, right? He wants to play his new stuff. He wants to play the stuff that he just figured out the lick on. But people cut, like Bruce Springsteen, we're coming to see Born in the USA, play that one, right? But that's what he talks about, is that might seem, boring to you, but it's the hits, it's what goes, it's what's effective. And I think another thing I'll pull from my history kind of in sports is, we would always say, I worked in game entertainment for a long time. As I mentioned, with Greedy and a couple of other things. And the one thing is it's somebody's first game every single night. Every single game that we did, it's someone's first game. So if we do a kiss cam and a season ticket member that's there and sees the kiss cam over and over and over, they're like, this again. But guess what? The person's there for the first time is like, oh, like, that's awesome. That's amazing. That's so funny. That's so great. And so that's the same thing, is you may get tired of saying, well, this is what we do and this is why we do. And you might not want to say that over and over. And you might start feeling this compulsion of like, well, let's tinker, let's change, let's try to think of something new. But has everyone in the world seen it? If everyone in the world's seen it, then that's the only time I'll say with 100% confidence. It doesn't mean that you can't do testing and other stuff from time to time. Been in business for 30 years, you're going to kind of maybe pivot and shift from here and there, but you shouldn't lose those core sentiments. And when you and I were talking on off air, it's like, it's going to seem boring to you. As long as it's not boring to the audience, then you're still good. But I think what you do is, the way you rally around is also, remember, you might hire someone new, and that's the expectations that you're setting. And it's not going to be boring to them yet, right?
Yeah.
So they might take a little bit of pride in hitting that talking point. They might take a little bit of passion in their work about living up to the expectations that you've set as a company, which might seem like a boring tagline to you, could be like the one reason someone came to work for you. And then also it could be the one reason that someone hired you and was so impressed that they're going to leave a 5-star review, and you're going to share that review in the copy of your website, and they're going to tell their friends, and it becomes the whole cycle.
And the circle can kind of come together as, like, if you see a headline or a tagline that you use on a regular basis, the best taglines don't really even feel like taglines. And people, if they say that's where I think you really win. If you say something in your copy, and this has only happened to me a couple times, so it's kind of like, the holy grail of reviews. But when you had your messaging so on point that they said it they didn't realize that they're affected by your marketing, but they said it in the review.
Yeah. And that's what we say, like, from the reputation marketing standpoint, is you need to set someone up to leave you a 5-star review. And if you do things correctly, you'll start to find out that your reviews are saying, we talk about sometimes going to surprise you, but usually they're going to say exactly what you want them to say because you've set the expectations, you've gone through, and you're marketing throughout your whole process to kind of get them going. And then all of a sudden, when they deliver that tagline back to you, it's not that you fed it to them, it's that you displayed it to them, and that is huge. But then that becomes, again, I can say my tagline all day, but if you hear your brother say it, you hear someone at work say it, you hear someone else, you're like, well, it must really resonate because I know that's the tagline and they just said it organically. That is gold, not just for how you feel, but that social proof, that's all some people need to hear is someone else actually verifying what you're saying, which goes back to, you're not really owning that reputation. You can do the best you can to keep it where you want it to be, but ultimately it's what other people are going to say. So while you're building that brand, you're going through maybe some of those boring talking points that you feel you're doing over and over. You're slowly building a fan base and you're starting to give them the strength that when they start repeating the things back to you, that's going to make you feel amazing. And it's the same way of every time the musician finishes the hit and he hears that buzz from the crowd, or when he hits that first chord and he knows that 20,000 people in the arena know that he's about to play that song. That part's not boring. That part's never boring. So again, you might be saying the same things over and over and over, but I guarantee when you start seeing the results come back, you never really think of it as boring anymore, right?
No, totally. And, the most mature home services businesses that I see all treat customer service like part of marketing and like have this cycle in place of getting these reviews. So could you give the next step for somebody that wants to check out NiceJob and why they should take that action today?
Yeah, so with NiceJob, reputation marketing software, we automate the review collection process for you. If you're a home search professional or anyone that's using certain CRMs out there, it actually integrates perfectly, so you almost can set it and forget it. But we've made the shift. We're going beyond that. So not only do you get your reviews, through a process that's going to get you 2 to 3 times more reviews, you're also going to get them on your dashboard and be able to share them immediately on social media, display them in widgets that are going to help the conversion rate on your website. Find out the topics and insights, as I alluded to, that's going to let you know where your core values may need to shift, where your marketing needs to shift. All this data and all this feedback that's going to just turn you into this force in your market. You're going to become that competitor that everyone's putting on their dartboard and throwing darts at because of what you're doing with it. And the way you can get started is we got a free 14-day trial. Get signed up, try it yourself. You can get that at get.nicejob.com or just nicejob.com if you want to even be simpler than that. And that'll get you started and get you going. You also, you can check out our website and things like that. We try to also do educational content on Facebook through our own podcast, the NiceJob podcast, to kind of explore more business topics, because our goal really is to kind of help everybody. While reputation marketing is kind of the method that we've chosen for our software, as a company, we're out here to kind of make a movement in its own right. So we'd love to get in touch with you. Even if you got something going on, we'd love to tell you how we'd be a little bit different than that.
So a lot of the people that follow us, a lot of our clients are roofers. We have all their kinds of contractors. Are you guys going to be at any events in 2021 for roofers? Do you know of any events that you guys are going to be at?
So we're looking into that. NiceJob is actually based in Vancouver, Canada.
Okay.
So the reason that is relevant, whereas I'm American, but I haven't moved to Canada since, is the border at the current recording of this podcast isn't quite open, isn't ready to go. So we're trying to figure out our availability. So with that being said, if we are looking to add more events, there's nothing that we're perfectly secure on. If you have anything to suggest to us, if anyone listening to this has one to suggest to us, we love to know, because in the community field, I get to go to a lot of these events. I get to be out there, and especially if it's a place that has great cuisine or a lot of fun people, I definitely want to be there.
So I'll throw them out here just on the podcast, because
Let's do it.
Some people might be looking for stuff to do the end of this year. So the big one coming up is IRE, International Roofing Expo in Vegas. I think that's in August. So that will be a really good one. We'll be there. We'll be doing we're going to be all dressed as the nerds we are, with glasses and everything, and doing website report cards.
August of 2021?
Yes. So come get a website report card, and maybe, hey, we don't know. Maybe Shawn will be there. We'll see.
Let's say that the government's got for August. The government's still deciding on that.
Okay. Well, maybe if Canada can open up for us. We've got the Western Roofing Expo, I believe. It's Western Roofing Conference, actually, WRC, and that is in a couple months after that. I think it's in September. And then we've got RoofCon in Orlando.
Okay.
And I'm trying to actually.
Where's the Western roofing conference?
I think that's in Vegas as well.
Okay, I was gonna say it's either Vegas or Arizona. I feel like there's
Yeah.
4 places there's conferences.
Yep. And
name
then
3.
RoofCon is Orlando. And like, I think that will be a really, really good one. A lot of awesome kind of exhibitors as well as speakers that will be there. I saw a ton of awesome people on Facebook talking about it. And then in December, we'll be at Roofing Process Conference again in Orlando and Vegas.
Yeah,
So
no one wants to go where it's cold.
yeah,
I'm a cold weather guy. You know, can't we get one in the mountains somewhere?
yeah. So if you guys want to join us at those podcasts or those events. Excuse me.
Also, if you are hosting a conference or an event or things like that, one thing I'd love to throw out there if I have the opportunity is,
Sure.
A big thing. A couple of conventions. We're kind of big in the window cleaning industry. It's where our founder kind of came from, things like that. So we get
Cool.
a lot of great people there. We've done reviews for events, which help to sell tickets and things like that.
Ooh,
so
cool.
even if we're not able to attend something like that real-time social proof widget, if you could put it into like, hey, so-and-so just bought a ticket. So-and-so left a review about a speaker last year. We'd love to talk with you about, helping you out with that to kind of promote events. Because again, it goes to our sort of core value of helping, businesses and industries as a whole. So if you're listening to this, there's an event you would love us to attend, just because, you love the sound of my voice. You want to hear more of it in person. Definitely shout us out. Let us know about that. But also, if you're running an event,
Shawn, do you want to give your email?
It's Shawn, spelled correctly, SHAWN at NiceJob.com. Sorry for all the scenes out there, but I had the microphone, so I said.
You must be an early employee if you've got the Shawn App.
What was that? Sorry.
You must be an early employee if you've got the Shawn at NiceJob. That's a short email.
Yeah, we're still relatively newer in the grand scheme of the world, I guess.
Yeah.
Kind of sort of thing. But yeah, so I have the Shawn, but also I like to think that you make such a connection that even if we hire other Shawns, I'll still be the one people think of. So
I feel
like I'll hold it for a while there. But yeah, Shawn at NiceJob.com. Give me a shout. Yeah.
Awesome. And any last things you want to share with the audience? Otherwise, I'll wrap up here.
You know what? No, this was a lot of fun. It was a ton of fun there. Like I said, I would love just to connect people on any sort of value, but also anyone that's listening to this, good on you for getting some podcasts in your ears or in front of your eyes, however you're taking this in, and growing and learning and getting a lot of value and hearing from people, out there. So if you're a podcast listener, any podcast, this one or ours or anyone, I just want to say, hey, cheers, kudos to you for trying to be a better person and a better business owner.
Absolutely. I honestly think that podcasts are almost more valuable than books half the time these days, because and I listen to a lot of books on Audible and I read, but I still think podcasts just do it for me more sometimes because it's just the current information. And I am a tactical guy. Strategy is great. And I believe you need to have tight strategy, but tactics, tactics hit the sales sooner sometimes. And so just I'll give people one more kick in the butt to get more reviews this week, get more reviews this month. This is the way. This is the way to get your people drummed up. And as people are searching, those Google reviews are a huge piece. Anything that you have on your website is a huge piece. I love the widget, so that's a big deal. The recent sales,
Engage widget,
customer. Yep. So I love that. Thank you everyone for listening. The podcast is obviously put on by hookagency.com, Hook Agency all over social. And thank you so much, Tom, for joining us.